Vietnam is an astonishing mix of natural highlights and cultural diversity. The scenery ranges from jagged peaks seen from winding mountain passes, down to verdant paddy fields, painted every shade of green in the palette. While the nation's long history and amazing number of ethnic minorities mean that culture vultures will find plenty to admire. Welcome to the GlobeTrotter, where today we'll be looking into the top 10 locations to visit while traveling through the fascinating and wildly underrated country of Vietnam. Before we begin today's video, be sure to subscribe to the channel in order to stay tuned for even more content down the road. Number 10. Hoi. One of Vietnam's most historic towns, Hoi is packed to the brim with relics from the reign of the 19th century Nguyen emperors. Sitting along the banks of the gorgeous Perfume River, the imperial enclosure is a huge site set within walls that sprawl for 2.5 kilometers. While touring the grounds, check out the gorgeous No Mon Gate, the Tai Hua Palace, with its finely lacquered interior detailing, the Dien To residence, where the Queen Mothers would live, and the Halls of Mandarins, with its preserved ceiling murals. A dazzling number of historic sites lie outside the imperial enclosure walls as well. One of the nicest ways of visiting a collection of outlying sites is by taking a riverboat cruise on the Perfume River. A day cruise can take you to visit several royal tombs, along with some pagodas. If you're short on time, the best tomb to visit is the Tomb of Tu Doc, and the most important pagoda in the area is the Tien Mu Pagoda, with its tower that soars for 21 meters high. Number 9. Phong Nha-Ke Bang National Park. One of the best places to visit in Vietnam for caving, World Heritage-listed Phong Nha-Ke Bang National Park is a dramatic karst mountain formation, honeycombed with huge caverns, which are home to superb stalactite and stalagmite displays. The most popular destination within the park is the Paradise Cave, which extends for a staggering 31 kilometers below ground. The yawning caverns here are truly spectacular. The site harbors a high level of biodiversity and many endemic species. The extension ensures a more coherent ecosystem while providing additional protection to the catchment areas that are of vital importance for the integrity of limestone landscapes. Tu Lan Cave is a wet cave, and a visit here includes swimming through the cave system's river. The other most popular excursion is to the Phong Nha Caves, where the interior is accessed by boat. The location also provides conservation and nature training workshops throughout the year for all those nature lovers out there. Number 8. My Sern. Surrounded by lush jungle-covered mountains, My Sern is a ruined Cham-era temple that dates from the 4th century. This old Hindu religious center was still very much in use during the 7th to 10th centuries, and only fell into complete decline and abandonment during the 13th century. The temples are dedicated to the worship of the god Shiva, who has been known under a variety of local names. There are around 20 temple structures still standing here, all built of brick or sandstone blocks, and showing interesting influences from various Asian empires, including Indian and Malay. The temples found within Group B are the oldest of them all, while Group A once contained the site's most important monument, but was destroyed deliberately by US forces during the Vietnam War. The location's on-site museum houses plenty of information and tours on the Cham, a great stop for history buffs visiting the locale. Number 7. Hoi An. Beautiful Hoi An is the most atmospheric city in Vietnam, with bags of surviving historic architecture. The Old Town Quarter is a joy to explore, packed to the brim with well-preserved merchant houses that hark back to Hoi An's trading center heyday of the 15th century, when the town was a major meeting point for Japanese and Chinese merchants who flocked here for the local silks. Plenty of the old merchant houses have been open to the public, so you can get a taste of these times. The best is 17th century Tan Khai House, with fascinating architectural and decorative elements. Hoi An's major symbol is the delightful Japanese bridge at the western end of Tran Phu Street, while nearby, the assembly hall of the Fujian Chinese congregation is the old town's most highly decorated temple. There are numerous small pagodas and museums dotted about town, but Hoi An's true charm is found in simply rambling the old town streets, admiring the well-preserved facades. Number 6. Ba Bay National Park. Tranquil Ba Bay National Park is absolutely stunning, with the 3 interlinked Ba Bay lakes at its heart, rimmed by jagged karst peaks and thickly forested slopes. Most visitors come here to take peaceful boat trips or kayak on the lake and explore the caves full of stalactites and stalagmites in the vicinity. But for the more active, there's also excellent hiking and trekking in the hills here between ethnic minority villages. This is one of the most peaceful spots in Vietnam, filled with glistening waterfalls, magical islands within the lake, and a rich ecosystem throughout the mountains. Travelers who spend the night here sleep in traditional stillhouse homestay accommodation along the lake shore, allowing an experience of simple rural life. There are plenty of real homestays located in Pak Noi Village, which all offer very inexpensive shared and private rooms and excellent meals made with local ingredients and care. For the best experience, arrange transport to the village and check out one of the lesser-known but genuine homestays, rather than a commercial one with a large online presence. You won't be disappointed, and your money spent here is much more appreciated. Number 5. Mui Ne. Once a sleepy coastal fishing town, Mui Ne has developed into a beautiful beach resort town and a prime destination for windsurfing, sailing, and kite surfing. Compared to other beach destinations in Vietnam, however, Mui Ne remains relatively unknown, and this means pristine beaches and a quiet retreat for most of the year. One of Mui Ne's most unique attractions is the natural red sand dunes just outside of town, where visitors can practice sand sledding or rent dune buggies for a more adrenaline-charged experience. Tucked away between nearby fishing villages and towering orange limestone formations, there's the Fairy Stream, a slow-moving warm stream that almost feels like a walkway because it's so shallow. Follow it to the end to reach a waterfall. For those wishing to explore beyond the coastline, there's also the ruins of the Po Shanu Cham Towers, remnants of the Cham Empire that dominated the area many centuries ago. Number 4. Sapa Countryside. The verdant rice field countryside surrounding Sapa, bordered by the jagged peaks of the Hoang Lien Mountains. The region is often still known by their French colonial era name of the Tonkin S Alps. The mountains themselves are home to Vietnam's most beautiful rural vistas. The deep valleys here are home to a diverse mix of the country's ethnic minorities, including the Hmong, Jai, and Red Zhao people, while the rippling hills are terraced with rice fields and overlooked by the country's tallest peak, Phan Xiphan Mountain. This is the top trekking destination in Vietnam, with oodles of options to trek or day hike between tiny villages and experience the staggering mountain views. Sapa itself is the main base here, an old French hill station, and now a bustling and forever-growing tourist center that is a stark contrast to the sumptuous, tranquil countryside right on its doorstep. Number 3. Ho Chi Minh City. For big city fans, no visit to Vietnam is really complete without a visit to Ho Chi Minh City, the buzzing and crazy commercial hub of the country. The streets are an insane clog of motorbikes and cars, the restaurant and cafe scene is incredibly cosmopolitan, and the shopping is the best in the country. At its center is Dong Hy, a relatively small and easily navigable central district, which holds most of the city's sights. Here you'll find the HCMC Museum, with a brilliant collection of artifacts that weaves together the story of the city, and the Grand Notre Dame Cathedral, built in the late 19th century. Check out the old district of Dachau nearby for some of the best surviving examples of the city's French colonial architecture, and also to visit the Jade Emperor Pagoda, with its dazzling array of Buddhist and Taoist religious iconography. Afterwards, the History Museum is a must-do for history fans, with stacks of relics on display from various archaeological sites. For many visitors, the two big-hitter attractions not to miss are just a little out of the center, along Nguyen Thi Minh Khai Street. The Reunification Palace, then known as Independence Palace, was the residence of South Vietnam's president. It's chiefly famous as the spot where North Vietnam's tanks stopped on the 30th of April 1975, officially ending the war. It's a completely fascinating place to visit, complete with 1960s furnishings still in situ. Nearby is the War Remnants Museum, which, although very obviously biased, paints a disturbing picture of the brutality of war and the many atrocities committed by US forces during their Vietnam campaign. Number 2. Hanoi. Vietnam's capital is the frenetic heartbeat of the nation, and a place that befuddles travelers as much as it charms them. The motorbike frenzy, pollution, and constant clamor of street vendors can get too much for some travelers, but if you want to dive into Vietnamese city life, Hanoi is the place to do it. The tourist destinations in Hanoi are generally grouped into two main areas, being the Old Quarter and the French Quarters. The Old Town Quarter has plenty of dilapidated charm, and skilled local merchants offer goods and delicacies. History fans should also make a beeline here, simply to see the bundle of excellent museums. The Vietnam Museum of Etymology and Vietnam Fine Art Museum are both brilliant introductions to the diverse artistry of the country, while the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum is an important tribute to the founder of modern Vietnam. Both areas, known as the French Quarters, have distinct French colonial-style villas and broad tree-lined avenues. These locations are also filled with several French colonial-themed landmarks, such as the Hanoi Opera House or the St. Joseph's Cathedral. Many of the other colonial-themed buildings have also been converted into local embassies for several foreign nations. Number 1. Nha Trang. For sandy fun in Vietnam, Nha Trang is king. The well-maintained beach trundles for 6 kilometers along the shoreline of central Nha Trang City, and during summer is jam-packed with local families on vacation, as well as foreign visitors. There is excellent swimming here, with designated swimming areas and manicured lounging areas that make this a great option for relaxing days soaking up the sun and sand. If you do get bored of sunbathing, the ancient Po Nagar Cham Towers are just to the north, across the Zombong Bridge, and have been used as a place of worship here since at least the 7th century, with some historians saying the site itself has been a place of active worship since much earlier. There is also an excellent museum dedicated to the work of Alexander Yersin, who discovered the cause of the bubonic plague and founded Nha Trang's Pasteur Institute. Overall, Nha Trang stands as a diverse locale for visitors of all walks of life. We hope you enjoyed this journey through the wonderful highlights that Vietnam has to provide. Do you agree with the list that we've compiled today? Have any recommended sites or attractions you'd like to see? Let us know down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button in order to know when new videos and lists come out.